right, man. Moving right along to around the sports world. We'll stay in the NFL, and the most intriguing conversation in the 2025 NFL draft was not in the first round, was not in the second round, was not in the third round, was not in the fourth round, but a pick that came in the fifth round. Shedeur Sanders. Just 2 short months ago, hell, 1 short month ago, hell, 2 short weeks ago, was all but signed, sealed, and delivered into the first round, where that was up for grabs. There were multiple teams that he were attached to. It was high as number 3 to the Giants. There was some conversation about the Jets. There was conversation about to 9 to New Orleans, 21 to Pittsburgh. He fell and fell and fell and fell and fell out of day 1, out of day 2. He fell all the way to day 3. And the Cleveland Browns, who had already drafted a quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, Oregon's quarterback, in the 3rd round, spun the block and drafted Shedeur Sanders. And everyone from all walks of life, from each coast, pillar to pillar, podcast, sports talk TV, radio, talked about and discussed the fall of Shedeur Sanders. Now, depending on what side of the ledger that you're on, you're either team Shedeur or your team don't like the way that they did him. I am one that tries to be the rational, and I try to see both sides, all sides. And I think the fall of Shedeur Sanders has multiple layers. Do I think that there was a little bit of bucking or breaking the wild horse? Sure. I think the NFL and its owners, and I should say the NFL, I think the owners of the NFL decided we're going to show them. We're going to show the overly confident kid that you can play in this league, but we own it. And when you start talking about like we're going to do like Eli Manning and the Manning family with Archie and how they did it, you heard Deion talk about it early in the draft process. They didn't sit well with NFL and the NFL brass. I think Shedeur Sanders had to pay for the sins of his daddy. I do. I think that people did not, and it's not a secret. There are people both in the league, outside the league, media pundits, who don't like Deion Sanders for whatever reason. Pick your reason. Too brash, too vocal, too loquacious. Pick it. It's fine. There is a dislike for Deion Sanders. And because you can't do anything to Deion because he's the greatest cornerback to ever play the game. And there's no one, despite how you feel about him, that could say otherwise. No one. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, no argument, the greatest cornerback to ever strap up cleats in the National Football League. So you can hate him, and he's polarizing. When he speaks, you listen. And I think Shedeur paid some of the sins of his daddy. Flip side is, I think Shedeur I think Shedeur, what word am I looking for? I think Shedeur caused a lot of grief on himself. I think he went, and this is now come out, he bombed in interviews. He didn't respond and give the proper answer from the quarterback's knowledge and perspective. He didn't do well in the interviews. He, some may say, arrogantly turned down other teams that wanted to interview him because he felt like that he wasn't, or they weren't in a place that they were going to be able to draft him. So he didn't even take the interview. Didn't even speak to the people. He didn't do anything at the Combine, East-West Shrine game. Had private workouts at Colorado. Didn't even throw the first time. Was it the first time or the second time? Big 12 Pro Day. Yeah. Yes. They had Big 12 Pro, that's what I meant. He did the private workout at Colorado. And I think as the process went on and people dug a little bit more deeper, that he fell from grace, his actions or the way that he went about it, or how the Sanders family decided they were going to go about it, it rubbed folks the wrong way. And there's a difference. When you're a first round pick, when you go in the first round, I've always had a theory, talent versus tolerance. If you're talented enough and you go in the first round, I got to deal with the BS. But once you made it past those first rounds and second rounds, because there's some starters in the second round. Not a lot, but there are some. But mostly third round picks, and the percentages, third round, fourth round, fifth round guys. I think there was a stat that no fifth round pick was ever a starter in the NFL for a season. Fifth round. I'm not saying that I'm saying fifth rounders. Because people are going to say, well, what about Tom Brady? I didn't say anybody late. I'm just saying in the fifth round, started, I think, for a season. When you get past the first round and the second round, you essentially fall into the waters.
One from 1944.
Nobody. It was 1944. They were smoking cigarettes in the locker room in 1944. They still had white-only bathrooms and water fountains in 1944. We're not doing that. So since 1944. So fifth-round quarterbacks have not played an entire season to start. It just doesn't happen. So when you get into that realm, you essentially become backup. Now with backups should be like children. What do you mean, Jess? They're grown men. They're not children. Yes, I get it. I know. But normally, your backup quarterback should be like a child. Seen and not heard. And with that comes all of the veracity that is Shedeur and the Sanders family. And some teams didn't want to deal with that. Some teams didn't want to have to hear what Deion talking in the media and tweeting things and the cameras and the legendary stuff. That's the name of Be Legendary. It's his name, his moniker. So they passed. They don't want the pressure every single week of the national media saying, will Shedeur start this week? The team's on a 2-game losing streak. 3 games. It's now time for Shedeur. And I'll give you my personal thoughts. This is just my thought about why teams like the New York Football Giants passed on him, despite the interview stuff that they had with him. And this is sometimes you have to bear the sins of your dad. If I'm Brian Daboll, I'm in essence on the hot seat. I had to deal with the Daniel Joneses for the last couple of years. Not too much going on for me right now in New York City. I draft Shedeur, bring him to New York. Things don't quite go right. You know what the media is going to say? Deion. It'll get louder and louder. And then prime time in Times Square, in New York City, the biggest media market in the world, and Deion Sanders now your head coach. Brian Daboll said, no way. I want no parts of that. I'm putting my own, I got to save my own job. You go 3-4 game losing streak, they're going to scream for Deion, especially when Deion said, I would like to coach my son in the NFL. Well, he said he didn't want to go, but he said, if I did, I'd like to coach my son. There's no way Brian Daboll is taking that. No. Because we're going to say it. I will. I'll raise my hand. Giants 2-5, 3-8. Brian Daboll on the hot seat. They're getting them up out of there. The Myers will pay that $10 million buyout from Colorado and put prime time in Times Square. I can see the billboards now. The billboards would be stupid. Media, it would be on every TV. They'll have Hard Knocks. You know Deion letting Hard Knocks in there. You know they are letting Hard Knocks come in there. He ain't turned down an opportunity. Fast forward. What about the number 9 pick? New Orleans needs a quarterback. They need a quarterback, right? Kellen Moore. If I'm Kellen Moore, I don't got no head coaching experience. It's my first head coaching job. You think I want that noise in New Orleans? New Orleans is not going to be good at all. They ain't got no money. They ain't got no players. New Orleans are going to take a beating for the next 2 years. Mark my words. Then they'll get back right. They'll clear some cap space. The books will kind of come back around. It's going to be a beatdown in New Orleans. You think Kellen Moore wants that hovering over his head? No, I don't want that noise. You don't want that Shedeur noise, that Sanders noise. No way. And then you go 21 to Pittsburgh. I think for me, Pittsburgh, this is just my personal opinion. I think two things. One, I think Mike Tomlin right now has 1 foot out of the door in Pittsburgh. Not that he wants to leave. I think the rumors will begin to become louder throughout the season if Pittsburgh can't figure this thing out. Well, Mike Tomlin going somewhere else, needing a fresh start. I thought he was a bad coach, but you haven't won many playoff games in a very, very long time. That can only get you so far. I think Mike Tomlin is hell-bent on gambling and letting it ride with old A.A. Ron. I do. And if he would have drafted Shedeur Sanders, I think that would have just about closed the door completely on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron wasn't going to come and deal with having to compete with Shedeur. I don't think so. And once you got out of the first round, it was just a free fall from there. Just a free fall. Cleveland finally got you. They gave you one of those here, man, damn. No, they didn't do that. But it's a win-win for Cleveland because it's a 5th-round pick. If it works out, great. Now, you go, it's a 5th-round pick, you got to come in humble. You humbled. Now, the league got what it wanted. You got drafted. Now, Cleveland they got a lottery ticket. They got a scratch off. This could change the fortune of the future if you turn out to be what some thought you would have been in the first round, as first-round talent. If you aren't, you're a 5th-round pick. That's ashtray money what they're paying you. It's to those teams. It's maybe you get some guaranteed money early on, but you're not. A couple $100,000, $800,000, whatever it may be, $900,000, whatever the numbers are. We got to cut you. We're done. Don't let the door split you with a good Lord. Don't let the door hit you with a good Lord should have split you. But the value of it is if you beat out Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Two Gloves and Joe Flacco and you become what some may have thought you could have, it's a steal. It's great value. The Browns don't lose. And it'll get them some attention that they kind of need and want because who's really talking about Cleveland? Nobody. But all eyes will be on them this offseason. The training camp battle, the OTA battles, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's kind of twofold. It's kind of twofold for the Cleveland Browns. But the league sent a message. It sent the message that they wanted to reverberate throughout the college ranks. For all of you up-and-coming quarterbacks that look like Shedeur Sanders, but also all of you up-and-coming quarterbacks that look like the Shedeur Sanders, be mindful. If they want to, they will. Act accordingly. Be confident. Don't be arrogant. Don't close all doors. Just because someone else did it, that don't mean you could do it. Or be undeniable. When you're undeniable, you could do what the hell you want. I'm going to be honest with you. If that boy Jeremiah Smith, that wide receiver from Ohio State, if he keeps on the trajectory that he's going to be on in 2 years, he can do what the hell he wants. He's undeniable. If Arch Manning lives up to be what he is in the next year or two, he can do and say what the hell he wants. He can go and if he goes out there and he's like Arch, if he keeps doing this, guess what? It's undeniable. You become undeniable, they'll tolerate a lot more from you. It's when you aren't. There's questions when they're like, I don't know. But, yeah, good luck to Shedeur. And wish him nothing but the best and see if he can't make something shake in Cleveland. God knows they need a quarterback. They have not been good at picking quarterbacks for a long time. We'll see if Shedeur changes that. Or Dylan Gabriel. Or Kenny Two Gloves. Or old man Joe Flacco. Hell, I don't know. I'm rooting for Dallas. I'm trying to get them to figure out their stuff. We'll see how that works out. But we will all watch Shedeur. We all gonna watch. We're gonna watch. Whether you like him or not, it's the I call it the Floyd Mayweather syndrome. You love him or you hate him, no matter what, you tune in. You want to see him win because you're a fan, or you want to see him fall flat on his face because you don't like him. You're not a fan. But you got to watch to see. We'll see Cleveland a lot this year because they want to see what Shedeur Sanders does.